just spoke. NASA successfully launched humans to the moon for the first time in over 50 years. Not one, not two, but three world leaders made rare addresses to the nation, all on the same day, April the 1st. Can't even make this up. The internet has been sent into a frenzy over claims that the bullet which killed Charlie Kirk did not match the suspect's gun. Something big is brewing between the US and Europe, which could cause Trump to pull out and leave NATO. Yeah, we got all of that to cover and so much more, so subscribe to the channel right now and let's stop the yapping and let's go! Stop yapping! Okay, we've got to kick today off with some very significant news because something big is happening between the US and Europe right now. Yes, I can see you, Vlad. Can hear you sitting up in your seat. Donald Trump is now threatening to leave NATO after multiple European allies refused to get involved in the war. And it's not even just refusing to get involved in the war, some of them are now actively pushing back. Yes. I could really hear you now sitting up in your seat, Vlad. Firstly, Italy have denied landing rights to US warplanes trying to arrive at one of their bases in Sicily. Spain, they have not only denied US access to their bases, but they're now also prohibiting overflight rights, basically any planes going over their airspace, to any of the aircraft involved in the attacks on Iran. France, they've done something pretty similar to Spain, where they have blocked certain American planes from crossing their airspace, which were carrying military equipment bound for Israel. Now, Israel didn't like this at all, and so in retaliation, they have actually halted all weapon imports from France. Keir Starmer, he actually had an address to the nation today, and he told the public, stating pretty emphatically,
"This is not our war. We will not be drawn into the conflict. That is not in our national interest."
And then he even hinted that there was some pressure from the US to change his mind.
There's been a good deal of pressure on me to change my position in relation to joining the war, and I'm not going to change my position on the war.
NATO member Australia, their Prime Minister, also addressed the nation on the same day the UK did, and the same day Donald Trump will, more on that in a second. He told the Australian public,
"Australia is not an active participant in this war, but all Australians are paying higher prices because of it."
He also went on to explain what other measures the Australian government are taking to combat this, such as cutting levies and taxes on their fuel and ensuring that their oil supply remains stable. He also did warn that
the months ahead may not be easy. I want to be upfront about that.
And bro, even China has now got involved in their first meaningful way because they are calling for peace, and they even presented a 5-point peace plan to try and end the war. I mean, serious when even the ops are trying to stop the war. Now, the response to all of this? Well, Donald Trump has lashed out at US allies, saying you'll have to start learning how to fight for yourselves. The US will not be there anymore to help you, just like you weren't there for us. And what that means? Well, he told the Telegraph that he is strongly considering pulling the United States out of NATO after it failed to join the war. And to give you an idea of what NATO would look like without the US, well, in 2025, the US is estimated to have spent around $980 billion in defense. Just have a guess what the second highest spending NATO country was. The UK, 90 billion. Didn't even break 100. In fact, not only did the US spend more than any other NATO country, but they spent more than every NATO country combined. So you take them out of the equation, you're looking at a very different NATO alliance. One that even Trump described as a paper tiger, or was it a paper dragon? And he said that even Putin realizes that NATO is a paper tiger or dragon. Can't remember which one it was. After this, he then scheduled a prime time address to the nation. Let's get to that. But before we do, let me just put it out there. Europe and NATO, they're facing this dilemma where they have two choices. They either play nice with the US or risk losing their support and having to fend for themselves. The question is for you guys, which one do you think is the right decision? Moving on. Okay, now let's talk about Trump's address to the nation, because there was a lot of anticipation that he was going to announce something big. Because All 4 major broadcast networks in the US announced ahead of time that they will be interrupting their usual TV schedules to address his address, to air his address. And not only that, but also because it came at a time where 3 major world leaders were all addressing the nation on the same day, April Fool's, the one day of the year where our suspicion is at its peak. I literally almost didn't even want to go on social media yesterday. It was horrific. It was just, we dropped this crazy product. April Fools. I hate it.
Me too.
Zaddy too. But all of this hype was pretty much for nothing. April Fools, because he had all of this hype. Everyone was like, what is he going to say? Not much. I mean, at least to the point where we knew most of the information already. He essentially rehashed what he's been saying for the past few weeks, that, the core strategic objectives of the US-Israeli military operation were nearing completion, and that the war would be over in 2 to 3 weeks, which it's hard to take seriously because, this war technically, according to their own estimates at the beginning of this war, it should be over 4 weeks. We've already passed that deadline. So how much we trust 2 to 3 weeks is just kind of like a, yeah. But also in the address to the nation, he threatened Iran again, saying that the US would bomb them like hell for the remainder of the war, saying,
to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
And he also took the opportunity to stir the pot with the US allies again, because obviously, as we already spoke about, he's not too happy with them. But fortunately, it wasn't up to the point where he would announce that he would leave NATO, like many speculated he could be about to announce. He didn't. In fact, Alex, his speculation of what was going to be in this address, I've just got to show you, actually. I've just got to show you, because I've told you guys that Alex really believes in aliens. He keeps on denying it. Well, let me just bring this to you. I don't trust Alex to incriminate himself by inserting the screenshot. So look at this. Yo, apparently the Trump broadcast will interrupt all broadcast. Look at this emoji. Alien emoji. Can you see that? Alex, the truth will always come out. Anyway, Trump said to allies that they should build up some delayed courage to secure the Strait of Hormuz themselves because the US don't need it. Trump also hosted a Easter lunch event earlier that day. F***ing what? Holy shit! Okay, what is it? Okay, it's just a butterfly. We are in the desert. That could have been anything, just so you know. All right. Let's chill out. But also, because it was Trump, there was a lot of interesting things that happened. He took specific aim at it's very distracting, at Macron.
Macron, whose wife treats him extremely badly. And still recovering from the right to the jaw.
He addressed Erica Kirk, who was in attendance, and said that she should sue Drewski.
I think you should sue him, but, sue their ass off.
And he also said that JD Vance is a perfect-looking specimen.
Oh, JD. He's lost weight. He got a little thinner, and I'm looking for a heavy-set gentleman, and now I find a perfect-looking specimen.
And that wasn't even it, because Trump, I don't even know how he does it. Every single day is packed. He's almost 80 years old. I don't know how he finds this energy, but he also made history by being the first president ever to attend oral arguments. God.
Bill Clinton.
It's a vicious one. I don't want to smack it because it's kind of a sweet butterfly, but the first president in history to attend oral arguments at the US Supreme Court. That's what I was trying to say. And this was a case for challenging his executive order to end birthright citizenship for anyone born in the United States. And then imagine after all of that, if he had to announce aliens that night. Moving on before Alex tries to interrupt me with a black screen. Also, speaking about history being made, which is actually right on topic with Alex denying the moon landing and also believing in aliens, which are those two contrasting beliefs?
I slide neatly into a hole. I get longer if you pull me. I fit snug in between breasts. I choke people when used incorrectly. And I work well when I'm jerked. What am I?
Bro, this isn't even funny.
What happened to
this
the...
is not even funny.
What happened to the motivation, dog?
That's actually shocking.
We didn't find out the answer. What was it?
Obviously, I'm a seatbelt.
Alex is a contrasting man, a very diverse and unique individual. Anyway, though, NASA made history by building their most powerful rocket ever and successfully launching 4 humans into outer space, which will go around the moon and back for the first time in over 50 years. Now, they haven't made it back yet, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but that is the plan. As we speak, the 4 astronauts are now orbiting Earth for around 24 hours to make sure, that everything is safe, the engines are all good, before they commit to deep space. The 4 astronauts are Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, that is right on the camera right now. Vicious beast. And Jeremy Hansen. In fact, here's something really interesting that I read. When they are ready to stop orbiting Earth and commit to deep space, they will blast the rocket's main engine for 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and that single burn will be enough to accelerate them all the way to the moon. This bloody butterfly. Send you to the moon. Now, they will arrive there on the 6th of April. Don't worry, you don't need to put it in your schedule. I'll remind you, it's my job. And NASA says that this 3-hour period that it takes to circle the moon, the crew will analyze and take photographs of geological features such as impact craters, ancient lava flow, and that will help NASA in future missions to explore the moon's South Pole region. Now, if all is successful in this 10-day period, this will lay the groundwork for an actual landing on the moon surface in 2028, they say, which a lot of experts say is ambitious, expect delays, and then ultimately building up for a moon base. So yeah, well done, humanity. There's a lot more to update you with this story as it continues, so subscribe and I'll keep you updated. Moving on! Also this week, the internet has been sent into an absolute frenzy over this headline. The bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson, a new court filing finds. Now, just to avoid the problem that happened over on short form, the brain rot platform, well, guess what? Hardly anyone watched the full video, so they took this way out of context. Let me say, watch the full video. Now, this article from Daily Mail has received over 14 million views. It's now over 20 million by the last time I've seen it. And it sparked hundreds of posts suggesting that the conspiracy theorists were right all along and that Tyler Robinson was not the shooter. Now, it's at this point where I think a lot of people clocked out and they were like, yep, we've heard enough, and they went into the comments. But they didn't wait for me to say, it's not that simple, right? There are parts of this that are true, but a lot of it that is very misleading. So let me get to the parts that are true first. Now, it is true that a recent analysis from the ATF, which is an official law enforcement agency, they could not conclusively connect a bullet fragment that was recovered during an autopsy to the rifle found at the scene. I know that sounds crazy, but listen to the nuance. An inconclusive result literally means that there's not enough information to say yes or no. Anything else is presenting uncertainty as proof. So to say that it did not match is misleading. Saying that they couldn't match it is much more accurate. And not to mention that inconclusive ballistic results are not that uncommon. It's not like this case is entirely unique. One study by Forensic Science International found, for example, that their examiners had inconclusive results about 20% of casework calls. That's 1 in 5. And why it's so tricky to always be able to determine which bullet came from which gun is because experts are looking for these tiny microscopic markings that are left on a bullet as it passes through the barrel. And these tiny little scratches are like fingerprints in that no 2 guns have identical markings. But when a bullet is fragmented or it's really damaged, it's sometimes impossible to conclusively match these markings with a specific gun. And that is what's happening here. And what that inconclusive result means for this case in particular, well, Tyler's defense. They are saying that they might use this inconclusive result to clear him of blame. The prosecution are saying that they will aim to demonstrate demonstrate that they have other evidence against him, like alleged text, DNA, etc., to proceed with this trial. But ultimately, what do you guys think about this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but for now, moving on. Also this week, Donald Trump got some disappointing news because his plans to build this new ballroom at the White House is facing a bit of an obstacle. A new US district judge has intervened in this whole process. I mean, at this point, he has literally demolished it. So basically, they've put it on pause. They've said they've ruled in favor of the National Trust for Historic Prevention, who took legal opposition to the project last month. So a judge has now temporarily suspended this $400 million privately funded ballroom because, quote, the proper procedures were not followed before the project began. The judge said in a statement, the President of the United States is the steward of the White House for future generations of first families. He is not, however, the owner. And he basically says for this to proceed, he needs Congress's blessing. Now, of course, as you'd expect, Trump has already appealed the decision, but the big question is, like, what if this gets denied? The whole thing's already demolished. What, like, should he rebuild it in the exact way before it was demolished? Does he just go away with the new plans? It's like, it might be already too late. Oh, wild stuff. Moving on. Okay, guys. Alex, music down. This is a somber moment. I need to apologize. As you guys know, by the fact that you probably still have sand in your eyes and your ears right now, I expected us to be out of the wilderness by now and have built us a whole new empire. And because of this, there are murmurs of unrest growing amongst the people of the News Daddy Empire, which don't currently have a home. And there are serious rumors of an uprising. I mean, just look! Look at what these mutineers did to our humble shack in the night. That is out of order. And so, I do not want to respond with anger. Nay. That sometimes anger is not the right approach. I have to act to make the people happy once again. So today, I am carrying out the largest giveaway in the history of the News Daddy Empire. You heard that right. You get a PS5, we all get a PS5. 3 lucky desert wanderers will not only have the chance to win a PS5 Pro, yes, I said Pro, but something even more valuable, you get the chance to win not 1, but 2, the most in-demand hoodies in the world right now. You don't understand. And guess what? Our good friends, our best friends at Proton, in fact, have agreed to be our mediators in this ceasefire between the Supreme Leader and the people, the peasants. And you will be ecstatic to hear that because Proton is now involved, this giveaway is now global. So wherever in the Empire you may be, you can get involved. All you gotta do to enter is email me at dylangiveaway@proton.me and say something like, for the Empire! Now, this next part is extremely important, so listen properly. I will only be picking winners who email with a Proton Mail account. If you email in and I pick you and you're the winner, and I see Gmail then, I will take you and I will banish you to hell! And you won't be winning. So, sign up to Proton Mail. It is completely free. It literally takes about 30 seconds. I've pinned the link for you in the description and in the top of the comments. And by signing up to Proton Mail, not only do you get a chance to win public appeasing gifts, but you will now have one of the best and most secure email providers in the world. It is brilliant. So use it. Unlike Gmail, no spam, no dodgy tracking you, just a clean encrypted email so no one can read your shit. I will be announcing the 3 winners in 7 days, so go enter right now. And of course, may the gods be with you. Moving on! Also, since we last spoke, remember the video that I think we played it in the last episode, the judge that absolutely dismantled that poor IT guy? Well, guess what? It turns out he's actually been raging at more people. It wasn't just the poor IT guy. This is a pattern. I was trying to defend bro and say maybe he had a bad day. Well, how many bad days do you need, sir? You jerk. Alex, roll the clip.
Can't read that.
Okay. Those are the overlapping stores between the stores outlined.
You're wasting my time this morning.
No, Judge. I mean, we have an overlapping issue in these 2 cases.
They don't seem to be that overlapping to me.
Well, we have the same parties.
You want to go to Jefferson County because you want Jefferson County jury.
No, I mean, Judge, we're the defendants in the case.
No.
We're they're plaintiffs. We haven't filed either one of these cases. They filed this case
Lien abatement
first.
is denied.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We filed a proposed order, but I have one here if you want.
Take it.
Jeff, you would briefly respond
You
about.
may not.
Well-
This hearing is done.
She's asking for a sanction.
Deputy, remove her from my bench now.
Your Honor, may I speak?
No, you may not. This hearing is over. Jesus Christ, these people today. Step away. You're about to be cuffed.
Bro even threatened to have her cuffed, and not in the good way. And here's the thing, it's not just the public being outraged at this judge's behavior, but even other judges in the legal field have come out and said that he's taking it too far.
There's codes for lawyers, there's also codes for judges, and judges are held to a higher standard. And judges are required to be patient, dignified, and courteous to anyone, witnesses, lawyers, anyone, as long as they're in their official capacity.
And apparently this isn't even the first complaint against this judge, so it's getting hard to just blame it being a bad day and him just having a lot of stress because he's a judge. He might be a jerk. Moving on! And then lastly, the Empire's new favorite ending segment. Today in history. Today, 108 years ago, US President Woodrow Wilson asked Congress to declare war on Germany, and that ultimately would lead and pull America into World War I. This also marks the beginning of the United States' massive mobilization effort that would eventually turn the tide in the Also today, 46 years ago, the Soviet Union, which was testing biological weapons, well, they messed up bad, and they leaked from one of their weapons facilities, and it caused an extremely deadly anthrax outbreak, killing at least 66 people. Now, the government initially tried to cover it up and say, oh, it was just from some bad meats, but years later, the world found out, yeah, it came from the lab. Crazy, but that is where we wrap. Do not forget to enter the Empire's largest giveaway in history. Sign up to Proton Mail, and also be there for the Unlucky Cloud launch this Saturday, April the 4th. Don't miss out. If you sign up, you will get early access and a notification of exactly when we're live, because this will probably sell out very quickly. But let's stop the yapping and let's go! Oh, also, remember that judge, sorry, I'm eating chipsticks, actually, which, no, do not include that. It's unprofessional to the next level. Oh no, my chipsticks.